What's up, y'all? We back to this channel will be named later, aka Bell, aka NSG Forever. This time we about to watch Baryon Mode is way stronger than you think. This is a Naruto, well, really this is a Boruto reaction, but it's about Naruto. I did a previous video on something about explaining Baryon Mode, and this one is from Seth. Yeah, this one is from SethTheProgrammer. That one was from that I did before. That was from Swag Kage. So we about to get into this. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you dislike the video, hit the dislike button. And tell me what you want me to watch in the comments. Any recommendations, I'll go ahead and watch that. But yeah, let's get into the video right now.
Superhuman strength, super speed, super alien eyeballs, magic wizard powers, ninja weapons, super alien genetics, reincarnation, alien demigods, Dragon Ball Ki Blast, super alien monster parasites divided into smaller super alien monsters, all against science.
Huh? See, I haven't watched Boruto, so
human strength, super speed, magic wizard power. Shut up!
I haven't seen any of this stuff.
Subscribe to my channel. Please get to 1 million followers already. This 700 is really boring. Also, you can follow me on Twitter and Twitch as well.
Go ahead, follow that nigga, man.
For Naruto and Kurama's Baryon Mode in his fight against Ishiki. I've been promising this video for quite a bit now, and I won't lie, I was waiting for a few things, but I think I have a lot of game-changing stuff to show and explain to you guys.
Damn, he folded that nigga.
Entirely different.
Oh, shit.
I'll also go over some in-story explanations and justifications of Baryon Mode as well, and overall do a bit of defense of the forums. This
mode still look weird to me. Like, it still look like a fire moth. Like, I don't like it.
At its core is a Kurama technique.
His face look cool, but the cloak just look like a moth.
Type of subatomic particle, meaning Baryon at its roots is a very scientific and more thought out ability and slightly different than mostly every other chakra related technique in Naruto for the most part. Thematically, it's supposed to represent a scientific twist on.
So they're doing chemistry.
Kurama utilizes that overall coincides with the whole scientific ninja tool adaptation we've been seeing throughout the story. However, it's a little bit more interesting.
Nigga fighting the Titan? Was that nigga naked?
Scientific twist on chakra use. It's Kurama showing that true chakra understanding and logic can actually amplify the abilities of chakra if you don't just use it flatly. Kurama is often underestimated, but he is in fact one of the most.
But how did fucking Kurama learn about that shit?
Naruto franchise, which I'll get into. He has been alive since the days of the Sage of the Six Paths and before ninjutsu was even named, and shares almost the same level of life experience as Black Zetsu, who was so intelligent and resourceful he manipulated Madara Uchiha, pretty much almost all of shinobi kind, into doing his bidding and reviving Kaguya Otsutsuki. However, one thing Black Zetsu lacks that Kurama doesn't is that while Black Zetsu is an observer and definitely knows his stuff, he's not the front line of the action nearly as much as Kurama is. Kurama has been the Jinchuriki, a very powerful shinobi, fought alongside Madara against Hashirama, was directly guided by Hagoromo Otsutsuki, who basically invented chakra for normal people to use, and has witnessed first-hand battles more times than you'd really imagine. Through his experience, he has a vast wealth of information we have very little idea of, and this vast information is actually displayed even in the original Naruto Shippuden series, even before Naruto befriends him. While Naruto is often complimented for being
I guess that is true.
Clones, Kurama can literally split himself into two on some cell division and still be pretty much the same exact strength. This division technique, which was utilizing its Orochimaru of Kurama, is more advanced than any Biju technique Naruto has ever used, where Naruto just makes chakra arms at best. Kurama also uses this experience to captain around Kakashi, Guy, and Naruto with more efficiency and understanding than any of them can muster, and was also coaching Naruto in his fight against Kaguya and Sasuke at the end of the series. Basically, this thing is smart and knows his stuff about chakra very well. Using his knowledge, he figures he can fuse chakra together in a similar manner as nuclear fusion, showing an even more understanding than we thought.
I get that he's smart. I get that he knows chakra. But how the fuck did this nigga become a science major and get a PhD? Like, all right, you smart. But being street smart and fighting and with chakra is not the same as being book smart and having a fucking PhD in chemistry. Like, who the fuck just knows nuclear fusion? That shit wild.
Stuff about chakra very well. Using this knowledge, he figures you can fuse chakra together in a similar manner as nuclear fusion, showing an even more insane understanding than we thought. Nuclear fusion being something he could have learned from his hundreds to possibly thousands of years of life, or maybe he just paid attention to the ninja scientist talking while Naruto just brushed it over or didn't register it. This principle is necessary to face down against Ishiki Otsutsuki in the Boruto era, and not only does he create a nuclear fusion of Naruto and his chakra, it also has an 8 gates level resolve spin on it that might amplify it even further than that. And most people don't understand how significant nuclear fusion actually is, but you see that Baryon Mode is them using the nuclear fusion process, which Kurama compares to the sun, but with chakra, we can actually somewhat quantify an increase for the form. Since Kurama
Okay, you do that, because I don't know how the fuck.
The process of nuclear fusion in stars, we can maybe try to quantify how much more powerful it is than its other forms by comparing it to the amount of energy stars produce with fusion. According to this chart, hydrogen 2 produces mega electron volt of energy.
Bro, he just brought out the fucking charts, man. Oh shit, bro.
Hydrogen 2 undergoing
I sucked at chemistry, bro. I don't know. And physics.
42,660.
Chemistry and physics was the worst classes for me. Chemistry, I cheated that whole year. Physics, I was in honors. So I was in honors chemistry and honors physics. Chemistry, I straight cheated in that bitch. Me and my niggas was in there. We was just passing notes and we cheated, bro. I don't give a fuck. And we got D's and C's on that bitch. Cheated the whole way through. I said, cool. Honors physics. That was my last year of high school. Well, it wasn't my last year. It was my last year of science, because I was in honors. Honors basically for our school. Honors was basically chemistry was supposed to be 11th grade. Physics is supposed to be 12th grade, but if you want honors, then you take it a year early. So I took chemistry in 10th, and I took physics in 11th. And this was I graduated in 2014, so this was like 2010. No. I said 2014, bruh. My math, bro, it's too much math, man. Basically, it's too much math. Physics is hard. Chemistry is hard. And yeah, that shit hard as fuck.
3,984 amount of joules, a gram of the we breathe, and the stuff that's just part of every molecule of water, and from that, get enough power to blow up a building 50 times over. So normally, these things exert billions of times less energy. Considering that Naruto is considered to have pretty much a limitless stamina in the last, and Kurama's power is a bit more than simply breathing in air, it's really up to the imagination how astronomical of an explosive increase Baryon Mode could potentially be. This also leads into another way you can scale the form, and that's through its power output and stamina limitations. As I just said, Naruto is considered to have almost limitless stamina in the last, and he can fight for days on end with only small breaks or rejuvenations in between. Even during his peak fights against Kaguya and Sasuke, he only got 2 recharges in almost a full day of straight fighting against the strongest adversaries he's ever seen. Yet Baryon Mode's output is so insane that this multi-hour stamina only lasts for pretty much a few seconds, really, at most, in the manga, and maybe
a few seconds.
Which further supports that insane nuclear fusion level increase the form could provide. While its roots in physics are something that can explain its power,
this shit is only a few seconds? What the fuck is the point of it? Oh man, you do this mode, you only gonna have that shit for 10 seconds. Like, what the fuck?
On the 6 paths of Samsara,
that shit useless.
The concept that all things in the universe, life, matter, and so on, a cycle without end. For Naruto, this is how many things are, from peace to war and the cycles of hatred and violence. Obito and Madara were seekers of the power of the 6 paths, in hopes they'd obtain enough pain to end the cycles entirely and bring an end to Samsara, with the moon and Baba Chakra, Wheel of Samsara, representing freedom from Samsara, with the Sage of 6 Paths on an internal mission to solve this Samsara, or cycles, and Kaguya Otsutsuki being its personification. Even the 6 Paths of Pain are clearly in reference to this, obviously, and they too seek to end the cycles of hatred and misery through pain. However, Ishiki, Kaguya's boss, represents something a bit
her boss,
an alien out of this world and had no
What
involvement.
the fuck eye is that?
And unlike his other alien counterparts like Kaguya and Momoshiki, he seems to want little to no
It's too many eye powers, man.
disinterested in anything but his further ascension into being a god.
Like, let's chill out with all these fucking eye powers, man. Like, it's a lot of eye powers popping up. The fucking Byakugan, the fucking writer of the show, he trashed that shit in the beginning of Naruto. He's like, oh yeah, it's just as powerful as a Sharingan. La, big cap, Byakugan, Sharingan. What was the third one? Byakugan, Sharingan. Rinnegan was later. Was it the third one? I guess the Rinnegan is the third one, right? Then Boruto, something about a Tensagon. I don't know. I haven't watched Boruto. But now this nigga got a pinwheel, a yellow pinwheel in his eye. Like, come on, all right. It's too many eye shits. Let's calm down on the eye shits. Cause Sharingan got Sharingan, Mangekyo, Dual Mangekyo, EMS, Eternal Mangekyo. Like, it's a lot. And then each Mangekyo got his own shape. And then apparently Tensagon is an upgrade of Byakugan. Apparently, I don't know. I never watched the shit, but apparently that's what that shit is. And then Rinnegan is an upgrade of Sharingan. And then there's the Rinnegan, which is a fusion of them both. And it's like, nigga, it's too many eye powers, man. Let's chill out with these eye powers. Let's find something else. Okay? Let's leave it where it's at. No more new ones. Let's leave it where it's at. And let's find a new way to introduce powers, man. We ain't got to do all this odd shit. Because the Rinnegan is supposed to be more powerful than the Sharingan. And I mean, I guess that's true to me. But I always feel like the Sharingan is better. At least for a fight. That's a whole nother thing.
He is, and this will sound a bit crazy, represents 8 paths. Well, he's almost there. All over his body, he's designed with 8 tomos, and his eye is very similar to the 8 paths Dharma wheel. Dharmakaya is often described as leaving behind the world of birth and death and dwelling forever in peace, basically outside of samsara, in which Ishiki was one step from obtaining had it not been for Naruto, Sasuke, Kawaki, and Boruto denying him of it and his karma, which Amato says lets him transcend death. For Naruto to utterly dominate someone of this caliber with Baryon Mode is an entirely next level feat and might actually put Naruto in a godhood level of power, considering Ishiki was already pretty much one step from doing so. This 8 paths Dharma concept is what conceptually puts Ishiki above the 6 paths cast of the original series in terms of scale and even character, and in terms of even his in-universe lore of being an Otsutsuki. Otsutsukis are beings of evolution and data, with them constantly amping each other over and
Where's
over
eyebrow at?
the evolutionary hierarchy into godhood. This data
Why that nigga got one eyebrow?
is prominently shown in Ishiki's private realm, in which he is shown at the peak of the data hierarchy, even above Kaguya and Momoshiki, who both represent and have samsara eyes, which also supports him being above 6 paths. These Otsutsuki or celestial orders are very similar to the Devas from Buddhism as well, in which Ishiki is placed atop the hierarchy. He also shows a lot of similarities to Mara, who is the supreme enemy of the Buddha, and since Ishiki is supposed to be the ultimate and strongest enemy that pushes Naruto beyond all his limits, it makes sense for him to have this inspiration. For those that don't buy it yet, let me break it down this way. Did you know that the Rinnegan literally means samsara eye?
I did not know that.
It can't be any more blatant than that, but Pain, Obito, Madara, Sasuke, Kaguya, and even Momoshiki all have a samsara eye.
Okay.
Rinnegan. Then the guy above samsara, Ishiki, or 8 paths, for some reason is the only new big bad alien that doesn't have a samsara eye, but instead has a Dharma wheel eye. It's pretty obvious. Well, except for the cyborgs above Jigen, but they're cyborgs, so they don't count. Some more evidence of this is that the Boruto anime site just blatantly says Ishiki is the strongest enemy in the franchise so far, so no nerfs this time. Baryon Mode is just the top dog of everything. For a more grounded explanation of how strong the form is for those that maybe aren't interested in the physics or the Buddhism inspirations, we can
Don't give a fuck.
directly to something like 8 gates or 6 paths. Might Guy, in just his pre-8 gate states and with massive fatigue, could blast Edo Tensei Madara off the battlefield, incapacitate him for a good amount of time, and even disconnect him from his Ten Tails, and even reacts to Ten Tails Madara and pushes him briefly before needing to resort to the full 8 gates of death, in which he could kill Ten Tails Madara with literally just air blast that he punches the air with. Considering a live Madara alongside a Renegon is stronger than Edo Tensei Madara,
I hate that he didn't die.
now has to take on a guy who's over a 10 Tails level increase.
Like, the fact that guy didn't die, like, I hate that, bro. Like, he should have went out in a blaze of glory. Especially doing this shit that he's doing right now in the video. He should have went out doing that shit. I mean, look at him. He look raw as fuck. He's fucking gut kicking the fuck out of Madara. Look at Madara. He in pain. He should have went out, like, God should have went out in a blaze of glory. Did a critical hit on fucking Madara, turned the tide, and he should have died because he did the 8 gates. And it's like, damn, man, God spent his whole life doing taijutsu, and then kind of found out he was the determining factor of us winning. Like, that's how he should have went out. And then Rock Lee should have took over his role. But no, they did a fucking Naruto nipple touch on Guy, and he can bring him back to life. And like, how did Naruto get healing powers? Like, he had Sage 6 path, but that's not healing powers. Like, that's just, I don't know, man. It's all like Naruto basically turned this to Jesus. Like, he nipple touched that nigga Guy, and now he can just come back to life. I don't like that shit.
Over what he did previously with the 8 gates, and surpasses his original power by tenfold over tenfold, and surpassed even the 5 Kage. With 6 paths, Naruto goes from struggling with blind Madara in KCM2 and losing to one-eyed Renegon Madara to destroying Ten Tails Madara with more ease than Might Guy in 8 gates, and even avoiding his limbo without even using his Bijou Cloak. Madara then absorbs the God Tree and obtains a second Renegon, and despite Limbo clones being equal to their original, Naruto is able to fight 2 Renegon God Tree Madaras off with just Shadow clones. Some people think that the God Tree is a 10 Tails level increase as well, and with a second Renegon that exponentially increases Madara's power even more than one Renegon, which led him from a pitch fight to dominating his opponents before, I might believe it. However, what's even more blatant is that Madara gets caught by Black Zetsu, and energy starts pouring from the infinite Tsukuyomi and shooting out from the ground, which Naruto says the energy in question surpasses even that of the Ten Tails, and it shoots straight into Madara to the point his body can't handle the energy and he's going to explode. This ball of Madara then becomes Kaguya, who Naruto is able to fight and give a hard time. So Naruto goes from a similar level as pre-8th gate Might Guy to multiple Ten Tails levels stronger with one power-up. To even further, even if you said Naruto and Sasuke never got any stronger, even though there's plenty of implications they did, Jigen can no-diff both Naruto and Sasuke at the same time, and Ishiki is an entirely different tier above even Jigen, and even Sasuke with his Sharingan that can borderline see the future can barely perceive him.
There's no doubt that he got stronger, but how much stronger?
Meaning Sasuke with his Sharingan, which we could see in the first fight between Naruto and Sasuke in part 1, would not even be able to see Baryon Mode move, and boxes Ishiki onto his hands and knees casually, even with the most basic of Rasengan and combos. There's often the question if Naruto still has 6 paths as an adult, and I'll say it's ambiguous, but heavily implied that he has something other than KCM2 Sage Mode. I say this because Sage Mode, even for adult Naruto, still has sage rings around his eyes. In fact, those rings are the sign of a perfect sage. You cannot really go beyond that. Yet Naruto as an adult has no signs of these rings in his fight against Ishiki before Baryon Mode, showing it's a little different and probably some kind of 6 paths. Naruto even implies that 6 paths is something made with he and Kurama's energy and doesn't require any more outside influence like Hagoromo again, with Kurama saying that Baryon Mode will be even more insane of an amp, meaning Baryon Mode may have amped Naruto by several 10 Tails levels of power, which honestly could fit very well if you consider the fact that Ishiki was already basically 2 levels above.
But he's already doing, so he's saying that it's implied that he got 6 paths still. He's already doing second mode Kurama Chakra Cloak and Toad Sage. He's doing Toad Sage mode and second form Kurama Chakra Cloak mixed together. and then it's implied that he still has 6 path, and now he has another boost. So he's already doing 3 boosts at once. Each boost on its own, the Kurama cloak on its own, powerful. The Sage boost on its own, powerful. The 6 path boost on its own, powerful. He's mixing the 3 together already into one mode. And now he has Baryon Mode on top of that. So he's gonna be having 4 modes all together. 3 of them is fucking Sage. Like, this is crazy. No, 2 of them is Sage and 2 of them is Kurama. But still, this shit wild.
Sasuke and Naruto anyway, with them not even be able to use fusion against him, meaning even Jigen's power was probably over twice as great as Naruto and Sasuke, since Momoshiki didn't even think their fused form could beat him, with Ishiki being otherworldly in comparison. I think it's extremely clear-cut that Naruto is at the top of the series at the moment, and nothing even comes remotely close until we see someone straight up blitz Sasuke Sharingan with linear movement, but even that's questionable because Sasuke's weaker now. A very fitting end for Kurama. They really did give Ishiki the business. The next part of the video will be a brief Baryon Mode defense section for you hardcore Boruto fans, because I see a lot of people that question somewhat basic aspects about it. The thing I hear the most is, why did Kurama never mention this before? Well, for one, it wasn't invented yet. Duh. But even then, there's a lot of in-universe reasons leaving that basic idea out, and it'll leave some internal consistency that I can explain. So, we'll assume Kurama could have used Baryon Mode ever since he became friends with Naruto. For all we know, Kurama could have needed his other half and needed to learn more about fusion and things from eavesdropping on scientists in Boruto, but let's just assume he knows ever since the Jinchuriki Brawl.
Okay.
For one, he did not need it against Obito, and was still mastering Kurama Mode in general. Probably couldn't have used Baryon Mode anyway due to them not even having a good link in the basic KCM form.
Yeah.
Against Madara, the only time he would have needed it is when Madara was yanking Kurama out of Naruto. However, Kurama had a plan to still save Naruto and himself despite this event by getting Minato's Ninetales into Naruto. Therefore, a sacrifice was not needed. 3. He did not need it against Kaguya. The only time he would have remotely needed it is when they were stuck in the gravity realm, but the other problem is that Kurama wanted Naruto to become Hokage, and that he'd have to fight Sasuke soon. Without him, Sasuke would simply win, and Naruto would never become Hokage. It would be a waste. 4. Using it on Sasuke is also pointless. Naruto and Sasuke's battle was one of them trying to understand each other and didn't require Kurama dying to solve. 5. They didn't need it against Momoshiki. They beat him down pretty bad. 6. They didn't need it against Delta. They soloed her pretty easily. The only thing I'll say for Baryon Mode is that maybe Kurama could have foreshadowed it after the Jigen fight, but other than that, there's no need for it to ever come up anywhere else in the series. I'm also personally more on board with the idea that Kurama simply learned this form after Shippuden, as it makes the most sense, but even then, the form is still fine and internally consistent with Naruto. The other issue I see is that people downplay its power pretty extremely, saying Ishiki didn't even think its striking power was impressive. However, this is disingenuous because Ishiki only says Naruto's strikes aren't the main issue after Naruto starts becoming exhausted. In the manga, he only throws like 5 punches before getting tired, but in the extended anime version, we see Naruto blatantly overpower Ishiki.
Damn.
Hands and knees as he gasped.
He hit that nigga with a Uzumaki barrage.
His power then drained, and Naruto almost passes out, and his strikes become not that big of a deal. Anyway, that's everything on Baryon Mode for those of you that stayed this far. I have a little special bonus fact for you. You know that in Naruto Retsuden, despite the fact that Naruto is not allowed to use any chakra, or else the chakra network will fail and freak out and he'll pass out, Naruto actually dodges photon lasers at base while chakraless. But you know how it is. When Naruto is 8 octodecillion times stronger, when actually having chakra, he's only like sub-relativistic to light. Am I right? Hope you guys enjoyed.
So in his base form, that nigga was dodging photon beams. So basically light particles in his base form, no chakra amps. That's insane. Especially because we know that using chakra is how you get faster. That's crazy as fuck, bro. But anyway, that was Seth the Programmer. Baryon Mode is way stronger than you think. Let me know what y'all thought about that down in the comments and leave some suggestions, man. Other than that, we out.